Hey everybody, Tim here with today's episode of Stranger Things, Season 3, Episode 2, Mallrats, which, right there, the title's a great reference to Kevin Smith and his movie Mallrats, and it kind of makes sense because we see all the kids just hanging out at the mall. Overall, I'd say this was a great episode. So like I said, I'm super excited to be going into this season, not knowing anything about it, and there were some twists in here that I actually didn't know about. So, starting from the very beginning, where, like, Billy escapes, which, I mean, at first I was like, really? Like, they bait us in with the last episode just to get into this one, and then and you realize after he gets out that he's actually didn't get out. He's in the Upside Down now by, like, the red lightning and stuff like that, and then all those groups of people come up, and then one of them's Billy, and it's like, oh shit, so now, like, the smoke monster's cloning people or something. Like, it's kind of interesting to see where they're going with this. Mike's mom on the phone, and where 11 calls and talks to Mike. I loved that scene, and Mike's like so scared of Hopper right now, and he's like, no, I can't do it, my grandma's sick. And then Mike's mom is on the phone, and she's like, what, did Nana call? And 11's like, was that your mom? Like, as somebody who grew up in the 90s, the early 90s, this is something I've experienced where, like, get off the phone. Like, it was a hard time back then, but it's something that I can still experience. The magnet's not working at Joyce's work, and then kind of she experienced it at her house as well. And then we see the first glimmer of the City Hall protest, but they don't really get to it till the end of the episode. So I was like, that's kind of weird. Dustin meets Robin when he goes to see Steve at the Scoops Ahoy, and ends up asking her, Dustin asks Steve to help translating the Russian broadcast that he got in the last episode. And then from here, there's where the title comes from, the Mallrats, where we see 11 and Max go and basically get together, and they go to see the mall to kind of escape from their troubles and stuff. And Mike and Lucas basically are talking. So you see the girls together and the guys together basically talking about their different relationships. And poor Will just in the middle, like, can we play D&D now? And everybody's like yelling, no. We find out a little bit more about Robin. In the first episode, I didn't really like her. Like, she was kind of funny with her whole, like, little board of how much you suck. But this one, she was a little bit more badass, and I really liked her a little bit more in this, where she, like, speaks 4 languages and is helping Dustin translate the Russian because she's so bored at the ice cream place and she just needs something different. We start to see Nancy and Jonathan stand up a little bit, and they decide to kind of go for their own little news reporting mission. And I love Nancy's like, it's better to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission, which somebody who's worked in retail, I have said that many times and have got in trouble a lot for it. But they go to the house, the lady that called about the diseased rats, and she's like, yeah, the rats are eating fertilizer. And they're like, are you sure? Because it's like this little sweet, crazy old lady. And they're like, are you sure the rats are eating the fertilizer, not just gnawing the bag? And she's like, yeah, I'm sure. And then sure enough, the cage starts moving, and she's like, oh yeah, I caught one of the little bastards. And then when we finally see it, it's scary. I'll get to it in a second though. We meet a new character that I was super happy for, because I didn't know he was in it. Carrie Elwes Carrie Elwes is in Stranger Things. I didn't know that. I somehow managed to completely avoid that. He's a great actor, one of my favorite actors. And it doesn't matter the genre, whether it's like The Princess Brides or Twister or Saw. Like, he does so much stuff, and he's such a good actor. He's actually going to be here. So I'm in Portland, and he's actually going to be here in like 2 weeks. So that's super awesome. I'm super excited for that. Anyways, he plays the mayor, Mayor Klein, I think is what his name was. So that was kind of cool, and just he instantly plays a dick. Like, that's kind of the interesting thing about him, is he does comedy really well, and he can play like the horror type character really well. So I'm curious to see like how he is. Clearly he's going to be like an antagonist for the show, but I could be wrong. Maybe by the end he'll be like this great hero. So like I said, we see the kids at the mall. Finally, this rat explodes. And again, I was like, oh, why do I have to see the poor animal die? Like, it's really sad. And then sure enough, it doesn't die. And like the goo starts moving, and it goes out of the cage and like runs away. And I was like, oh, rather than the upside down, the rat is now the inside out. So, okay, I was totally off the mark with that. I'm kind of interested to see where this goes now. Throughout this whole episode, we just see Max and Max and Eleven and Lucas and Will just keep missing each other. And then, of course, when we get to the end of the episode, the two end up running into each other. And it's just, I don't know, like Max is so proud and Lucas is so sad because they've been through it, like Lucas says like 5 times. And Eleven just like, I dump your ass. And then they go and they run and they get in the bus and lick ice cream. It's very like The Graduate almost at the very end where they get in the bus. But I was like, I don't know. It just seemed kind of weird. I don't really remember like the 13-year-old love dates, relationships I was in at the time. I'm sure it was even more messed up than this. But I was like, oh, that's disappointing. But I'm sure we'll see it throughout the rest of the season. Joyce ends up standing up Hopper. She's with the teacher from the first 2 seasons, and it was kind of great to see that character. And he's trying to explain to her why the magnets don't stick, but Hopper is really like kind of broken up about it and gets super drunk at the restaurant by himself. So I feel like this is going to be really bad for the Joyce Hopper friendship. Let's see, Robin, Steve, and Luke and Dustin did break the code, but so far they don't really know what it is. It's just kind of gibberish. But Steve realizes that there's carnival music kind of playing in the background. It's the same as like the little horse ride at the mall. So he thinks that it's not actually in Russia, it's here, and then that's where the code's coming from. And of course, the whole bait to the next episode is Billy kidnapping the other lifeguard and like sacrificing her to the smoke monster. And so overall, like a lot goes down in this episode. So far, I'm liking this season more than the second season. Not quite as much as the first, but I mean, we're only 2 episodes in. So for those who have seen this one, go ahead, let me know what you guys think. And thank you guys for watching. I'm super excited to kind of watch this show for the first time with you guys. And I will see you guys next time for The Case of the Missing Lifeguard.